Sarawak campus. It is my pleasure to invite them to the stage now to present us with the key insights and takeaways from IAIA 23. Wallace and George, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. The last 5 days have been truly a pleasant experience for us and our colleagues from Swinburne University. I believe most of you arrived in Kuching over the last weekend, as for the first time after the many years of travel restriction, we could finally see many visitors and tourists in the city center. We could really feel that something big is happening. And surely, as you could see during the opening plenary on Monday, the hall was packed with delegates. We are truly grateful to learn that more than 600 persons have registered for IAIA 23, with more than 95% of you from outside Salawak. Before we proceed further, I would like to invite Wallace to share a little bit about how Swinburne became the host for this year's conference, as he has been the key person in establishing our relationship with IAIA.
We get to know IAIA in 2017, and this is through our research staff in Melbourne. We have a main campus in Melbourne, Australia. So in 2017, we decided to propose to IAIA to hold the IAIA Symposium in 2018. Thank you, we managed to do that. It was a tremendously successful event. So in 2021, the state government of Sarawak invited us to bid for the 2023 IAIA conference in Kuching. We'd like to welcome you back. Now, at that time, we were not sure. We started to see the light at the end of the very dark COVID tunnel. So we thought, why not we just give it a go and let's see what happens. So this is what happened. 2023, we get to see you. Thank you very much.
The conference program started on Monday, 8 May. Over the course of 4 days, we have many plenary sessions, team forums, as well as special workshops conducted by the World Bank, European Investment Bank, and UNDP. Now, to recap the highlights of the conference, we have prepared a photo montage of the pre-conference technical visits and training workshops, as well as the opening plenary. This photo montage is prepared by our Swinburne students. We hope you will enjoy this. scribble your thoughts on the conference and share these at the content corner. Let's have a look at the notes. You could see that I've listed some of those notes that I consider as my favorite. Most importantly is the second last one. I have learned so much and will definitely see you or everyone in Dublin. Our students and Jack of IAIA have also approached delegates to ask what they think of IAIA conference. Let us now watch a short video of the interviews along with additional highlights of the conference.
Welcome to IAIA 2023, the 42nd annual conference for the International Association for Impact Assessment. The world was grappling with the unprecedented challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was a great time of uncertainty and upheaval, but it was also a time for profound learning and reflection.
May I also extend a warm welcome to Salawak, to all participants. We are indeed honored with your presence at this meeting and conference.
As I'm looking for these inputs as we put together a new strategic plan to take the organisation forwards, that reflection is very much what I'm keen to hear more of.
So, to all of you involved in impact assessments, you have a vital role to help nations and humanity through this challenging time. And your influence on how we do future planning for development can determine, to some extent, the safety of humanity.
I've been doing EIAs for more than 20 years, and I've always wanted to attend one, but it's like the cost, constraints. So I was just so surprised when I found out last year that they were actually having one here in Kuching, where I'm from. So it's such a pleasure.
What drew me to this conference was to get new knowledge, new concepts, and open all what I know beyond my horizon and bring that information to my country.
And it's not just any old subject. I mean, we're trying to tackle some of the thorniest, most difficult subjects that that we're facing as societies across the globe. What really strikes me, though, is this sort of whole systems thinking. That you're trying to piece together discrete solutions to much, much wider problems here.
Obviously, a lot of things that we need to look at in terms of updating.
The development banks and the standards are increasing, and the requirements to take into account things like human rights and gender and impacts on more vulnerable communities are becoming important, particularly Indigenous people.
We think we need to establish a working group.
I think we need to work more together, so the different disciplines of health, environment, social, indigenous impact assessment, we can learn from each other. So by coming here, I get to meet people, I can then draw on them when I return for different pieces of work that I do, and it's an excellent opportunity to broaden my knowledge.
Well, this is the third time I'm actually here, and every time that I come here, I feel like, okay, this is something that I have to keep on doing. Why? Because of networking. That's really basically, you meet people from different parts of the world, meet people with different backgrounds, doing similar stuff in different contexts. So definitely networking is great.
What makes IAIA conference special is the people that is here, the quality of the people, the variety of the people. And when I talk about quality, it's not only the professional quality, it's the quality of persons as colleagues, their capacity and the willing to share, to engage, to provide criticism and feedback.
A just and sustainable world.
For the people and the environment.
Voor een rechtvaardige en duurzame wereld voor mens en milieu.
この星に住むすべての人と、そしてこの美しい自然環境のために。
IAIA, trabajando para construir un mundo justo y sostenible para las personas y el medio ambiente.
Working to build a just,
sustainable world
for people and the environment.
You know that after each plenary session, the session chair is expected to submit a report that addresses 3 key aspects of the discussions that transpire in the session. These reports are available on IAIA's website. We have been asked to summarize the key insights and lessons learned. However, the reports cover a wide range of IAIA themes. It will certainly do no justice to the session chairs if me and Wallace were to pick and highlight only those points that we think are important, given the short span of time that we have now. Therefore, we encourage you to go through the reports at your own pace, perhaps while waiting to catch your flight or when you are back home. Nevertheless, I would like to invite Wallace to share his observations of some of the important lessons learned. Wallace?
Thank you, George. And can I just start by sharing? I was here on the second day. It was good. The crowd was strong. I was here on the third day yesterday. The crowd was strong. And I thought, come on, are these people here just for the food? I know that BCCK food is good, but really, are they here for the food? Then, as the session ended, I saw that people stayed back during the session. They keep on their discussion. They keep on their question, and then I thought, wow, they are really serious. And I must say, this is probably one of the most close-knit community, most engaged community that I have the pleasure to connect with. Well done. I'll be serious now. So I have shortlisted 5 observations. This is technical stuff. So I enjoy the discussion around integrating SIA and EIA. I have seen our Asian country taking leadership in tackling climate change, biodiversity and human rights. This is from their work in Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, around the region, country around the region. From the posters, I'm an engineer myself, so from the posters, I'm really pleased to see that technology is being used in impact assessment, and impact assessment is used to assess the adoption of new technology, hydrogen economy, renewable energy, blue economy, and so on. We have heard many merits of indigenous leadership and knowledge in impact assessment. I think this is very important, and I really love the sharing from my home, Salawak. We have done some work here, our researchers have done some work. I'm really pleased to hear that. And finally, as a university, we are pleased to learn from our peers, especially from Japan, on how university can take a leading role in impact assessment and in climate change, in climate action. I guess by hosting IAIA 2023 is we play our little role in impact assessment. Now, I would like to finish by echoing what Gabriel said the other day. I think the main lesson that I take away from this is interaction, engagement, discussion, dialogue are still the best way to learn. And this is what we are all here for. Thank you.
Going back to the session reports, the 3 key points that session chairs will need to address are as follow. Firstly, is 3 messages on the theme, resilience through impact assessment and leadership. Secondly, recommendations for impact assessment practitioners, and lastly, recommendations for policymakers and other stakeholders. So again, I would encourage you to go to IAIA's website, look at the report and see what you can learn from the summaries that the section chairs have submitted. So ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude our presentation, we would like to take this opportunity to thank IAIA colleagues who we have been working with over the last 12 months. They are Bridget, Jennifer here, she's at the back, Sue, Shelley, Jeff, and of course Kayla, who has been our main contact person for logistics matters. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you all, and of course we are deeply grateful for the support from our Swinburne colleagues and students. May I invite you to join us in giving them a big round of applause. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Wallace and George, for your wonderful wrap-up. We shall now proceed to the IAIA Awards presentation. There are 7 award categories, namely Institutional, Lifetime Achievement, Individual, Regional, Youth, Outstanding Service, and IAPA Best Paper. The awards chair is Peter Moore. Mr. Moore is a senior environmental specialist at the World Bank working in the East Asia and Pacific region. He is also one of the bank's biodiversity focal points. Joining Peter in presenting the awards are IAIA CEO Gary Baker and President Gabby Factor. May I invite all 3 to the stage for the presentation, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the IAIA 23 Awards Ceremony component of the closing plenary. As my colleague just said, my name is Peter Moore. I'm the Awards Committee Chair, and I want to reintroduce to you Mr. Gary Baker, our new CEO.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. We're almost there, almost there. But before we do, we have some really important messages and awards to give out. We have Gabby up on stage, who's actually going to do the important part of handing everything out and shaking hands and photographs. But we have a deal with you, just to kick things off. So Peter and I are going to do all the talking. You've got nothing to do on that. But what you have to do, you're going to do all the applauding. Okay? That's the deal. We'll talk, you clap your hands. So we'll start with really just a really straightforward one of a round of applause for everyone in the room who has contributed so much to make this a fantastic conference. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. I think what I love best about this part of the conference is the way that we recognize our own. We do some pretty amazing things in this space, and this conference and this association allows us to share this with everyone. So today's ceremony really recognizes the extraordinary talent that we have in this room, the commitment that was demonstrated in all of these sessions, in terms of impact assessment, people, planet, environment, human rights. We all learned a lot from one another over the past week. So today is really a way to recognize that through these awards. And with that, I think we turn over to you, Gary.
If we can have the first slide, please. Here we go. Without further delay, we have, let's get started on, the first award is the Regional Award winner. Now, the Regional Award is granted to a person or organisation that has made a substantial contribution to the field of impact assessment and or taken a leadership role in promoting best practice in impact assessment within the general world region or location of the conference for that year. So it's a regional specific award for real excellence, meeting the mission of which the organisation is very proud of. Now, the recipient of that award this time is Dr. Yongbun Jung. He's a research fellow emeritus at Chungnam University in South Korea, and he is the recipient of this year's regional award. He has held the role of board member of IAIA in the past, and has led the IAIA Korean affiliate, Korean Society of Environmental Impact Assessment. He is actively involved in IAIA activities and annual meetings. Through his involvement, Dr. Jung has been instrumental in broadening the regional network of impact assessment and cooperation across all of Asia. Please come up and receive the award.
Rewarding its people is incredibly important. These awards celebrate hard work, in turn making people feel appreciated and well respected. And with this, I'd like to announce the Outstanding Service Award, which this award is delivered and nominated by the board itself. So this year's Outstanding Service Award through the IAIA goes to Mr. Behzad Rajan for his many years of service to the IAIA, to the Nominations Committee, as well as the Training and Personal Development Committee. So with that, please come to the stage, Mr. Behzad.
Congratulations, Behzad. Right, our next award is selected by the IAPA Editorial Board. It's for anyone who's had any attempt to submit a paper to IAPA. You know how difficult it is. Standards very high, competition is very high as well. So to be a recipient of this award is really a notable achievement. The IAPA Best Paper for 2022 has been awarded to Environmental Assessment, Sustainable Finance Frameworks. Will the EU taxonomy change the mindset over the contribution of EIA to sustainable development? Quite a big title, obviously a big paper. Now that can be found, it's in volume 40, issue 2, and the authors are Jiri Dusek and Alan Bond. Now, Jiri's already leave the conference, so Jessie Mee will be accepting the award on Jiri's behalf, but can I ask Alan and Jessie to come on up, please? Award as well.
Congratulations, we'll get the extra certificate in the mail. Next up is the IAIA's Individual Award, and I'm especially proud to present this one. It goes to my colleague, Mr. Carlos Perez Brito, who is a Senior Social Specialist at the World Bank. Mr. Perez Brito has recently led numerous cutting-edge best practices and high-profile events to mainstream social impact assessment in this East Asia and Pacific region. Since 2013, he has led the LinkedIn Group Social Specialist Community Practice, where professionals from different regions around the world find a space for sharing best practices. Most recently, he's been involved in providing extensive training in this region with over 500 participants from 42 countries attending a virtual event that he put on. I know how hard he worked on this, so please put your hands together for Mr. Carlos Picote.
We now move along to the Youth Award. The Youth Award acknowledges a distinguished young IAIA member, and for that we say under the age of 35. Remember those days. It's all about an outstanding achievement within the broad field of impact assessment. Now, this is only the second time that we've actually made this award. But I think it illustrates, it really is an important area that we are very, very keen to promote. The work of our younger members really is pretty vital in terms of facing up to the problems that we've all been discussing over the last 3 days. Now, the recipient of the Youth Award is Mutsuri Kamaya, although we all know him as Teddy. He said it doesn't matter which way it's called, he responds either way. So over the past few years, Teddy has organised, facilitated, steered engagement meetings on impact assessment reforms in Kenya, and has brought together more than 2,000 beneficiary individuals to be engaged in that process in broad debate. And that's across governments, private sector, grassroots, indigenous committees, organisations, and he continues to expand these outreach efforts and build the capacity of grassroots networks across this country. So Teddy, please come on up and accept your award.
Congratulations, Teddy. Next, we'll move on to IAIA's Institutional Award. The Institutional Award is presented to a national or international organization for outstanding contribution to impact assessment. This year's award goes to the European Investment Bank. In 2022, EIB's Board of Directors approved a new environmental and social and sustainability framework. Their ESSF is an overarching policy that focuses on sustainable and inclusive development, committing to just and fair transition, and supporting the transition to economies and communities that are climate and disaster resilient, low carbon, environmentally sound, and more resource efficient while respecting human rights. One of the reasons we as a committee decided to award this to EIB is the extensive consultation that this framework went through, which exceeded industry and international best practices. So with that, I'd like to welcome Ms. Adina. I went over your name before. Relichowski? Close?
Soon, we're in our final award, and this is perhaps the most prestigious award in some ways, certainly for endurance and contribution over a long period of time. It is the Lifetime Achievement Award. The Lifetime Achievement Award, it was previously known as the Rose Holman Award. It's awarded to long-term supporters and members of IAIA for major contributions to the field of impact assessment over a sustained period of time. Now, the recipient this year is Dr. Peter Tung, and from the South African Institute of Environmental Assessment, and really has been providing exemplary leadership, capacity building in IAA for Southern African region broadly, and really involved heavily in development activities since 2000. Because of Dr. Tahar and his work with SAIE, hundreds of African IAA professionals have benefited from his training, from his inspirational advice, leadership, and his involvement in promoting their involvement within the industry. He really has been led the way in terms of integrity, capability, and the vision that he's brought to that region and to IAA more widely. As a side note, Dr. Tahar was actually nominated in 4 categories for awards this year, so it seems very fitting that he should receive the Lifetime Award. Now, fortunately, he is not here today, but he has a very able stand-in. If I could ask Brian to come up and receive the award on his behalf.
Thank you. Before we go, there are 2 award winners from 2020 that we'd like to recognize today. In 2020, Ms. Sarah Weiss was awarded the Outstanding Service Award and Francois Retief the Individual Award. For obvious reasons, we weren't able to give them their plaques in 2020, but we would like to invite them up and give them the recognition they deserve today.
And that's for the awards committee overall. I mean, the work that they do in receiving nominations, vetting them, disagreeing, arguing, agreeing, and awarding them, I think it really is pretty heroic. Peter is leading that effort. Congratulations on some very fine selections this year, I would say. So please, can we have a round of applause for the awards committee and the work they do?
So, as we close this portion of the plenary, I just want to thank everyone who submitted nominations. I want to congratulate everyone who was nominated, and I would encourage you to all nominate and think about nominations for this year. In fact, we've opened the nominations early this year to hopefully kind of stimulate you as you fly back to your parts of the world to think about who we should recognize next year. And I hope to see you all in Dublin. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, Gary, and Gabby for the presentation. And congratulations again to all recipients. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now invite IAIA President, Ms. Gabby Factor, again up to the stage to introduce the incoming IAIA President.
One of the advantages of working in the board of IAIA is the time and the opportunities you have to get to know very closely and be very much in contact with wonderful people that otherwise you will never have that chance. This past year, I have the honor of spending a lot of hours on the phone, on mail, and getting to know this amazing woman, one of the kindest, wisest, and more gentle and intelligent and strong-willed persons that I have met in a long, long time. I'm very honored and very relieved to leave IAIA in the very capable and gentle hands of Edith Burundi Kaubir.
그림이 사우디. 차기회장이야? 노트 부리고 나갔어. 와우.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the board members of IAIA, I take this opportunity to appreciate Gabriela and the factor for her stewardship on a ship that set sail in a very uncertain time. We honor you, we appreciate you, we thank you. Thank you so much. I have benefited from your leadership, your support, and you have really held my hand. I start my reign with a lot of words from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. On behalf of the members of the International Association of Impact Assessment, I extend my gratitude to the Sarawak government, the people of Malaysia, colleagues from the Swinburne University of Technology, sponsors, partners, and all who have played a critical role in organizing IAIA, including Gary, Bridget, Jenny, Shelly, Lowly, Sue, and John. Thank you for your hospitality. Terima kasih. Merci beaucoup. Asante sana. Medasi. Ngiyabonga. Gracias. Arigato. It gives me great honor to speak at this closing plenary like well-accomplished impact assessment professionals. Every annual IAIA conference continues to fulfill the promise of our vision of having a just and sustainable world for people and the environment. What makes us unique as impact assessors is our significant contribution towards sustainable development. Today, the world is faced with multiple issues, including climate change, artificial intelligence, to mention a few. A decade ago, when I attended my first IAIA conference in Calgary, Canada, the conference value proposition was that participants like me needed to be part of a new future that would see a nexus of environmental effects to the global commons such as climate change, biodiversity, soil degradation and loss, ocean productivity, and the loss of Aboriginal culture, coupled with increased urban, human, and economic development. A decade later, these global challenges still have profound implications to the trajectory of impact assessment and the sustenance of nations amidst several uncertainties. As impact assessment professionals, contributing to reinforcement of interconnectedness remains high in our agenda as we support initiatives that foster a sustainable and resilient planet, a prerequisite for human prosperity and equity for all. Personally, 10 years ago, I felt honored to join the IAIA family. And as I navigated the meeting rooms at the BMO, there was a sense of optimism. And David Simpson just reminded me that that was the first year, that was the first conference that human rights were anchored in the discussion of impact assessment. Today, 565 delegates from 73 countries have witnessed with me the same optimism and belonging. I live with so many fond memories of time well spent in our BCCK home, one special but yet simple place. I have had laughter, deep conversations, words of support and encouragement that I believe we all hold on to long enough to navigate our careers. As Bridget says, that every conference you attend invites you to another conference, which translates into a family reunion. As I navigated the different sessions in IAIA 23, I could not help but note 3 key messages that came through if we are to improve resilience through impact assessment. Number 1, we must reinforce the role of science as it plays a critical role in impact assessment. According to Matthew Cashmore, in his paper, The Role of Science in Environmental Impact Assessment, Process and Procedures versus Purpose in the Development Theory, he argued that EIA theory anchors itself in 2 forms, EIA as a science and EIA as a civic science. It is clear from the discussions that we've had for the past 4 days that there is a call for more integrative and connective research if impact assessment as a global decision support tool is to fulfill its potential. Number 2, partnerships and collaborations matter if we are to improve resilience measurement through impact assessment. My discussions with Patricia Rodriguez over the last days have been fruitful and made me to conclude that we need a lot of initiatives around communication, leadership that can boost systems thinking, intellectual honesty, intellectual humility, and empathy as a pathway to translating technical knowledge and expertise into scenario planning and translating outcomes into governance and implementation system. We know that nature and society are very complex realities, and according to a well-known African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It would be good to take such discussions further in the coming year and into IAIA 24. Lastly, the increased role of IAIA in providing thought leadership on resilience matters, and therefore it remains critical that we continue to have active discussions through our section committees on relevant topics. It is now more important than ever to trigger fit-for-purpose assessments beyond site-specific assessments. You and I, as members of IAIA, have the conviction to influence sustainability outcomes. I conclude by thanking my fellow board members, Gabi, Alan, Bryony, Victoria, Miguel, Rhea, Francesco, and Key, and look forward to having fruitful discussions. I remain comforted that we are a diverse team that will continue to spearhead the interests of IAIA this coming year. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Kahudire, for your inspiring presidential address. Ladies and gentlemen, last year the IAIA 22 was held in North America, whereas this year it is in Southeast Asia. By now, I am sure we all know where we will head in 2024. Of course, it will be the beautiful city of Dublin, Ireland, in northwestern Europe. The IAIA 24 Planning Committee Chair is Eddie Smith. Mr. Smith is a global social and environmental practitioner and a former board member of the IAIA. He is co-chair of the IAIA 24 conference. I shall now invite Mr. Smith to deliver his address.
Keep me the portrait that 1,000 welcomes in our language, in Ireland. So it's only now, of course, the weight of the responsibility of organising the next conference has landed on me. And I would like to thank the Malaysia Committee and the IAIA organisation for a fantastic and amazing conference. And I think Wallace and George really have made this a hard act to follow, but I'm sure we will do a great job in Dublin. And my co-chair is Ainhoa Gonzalez, who is Spanish, Ben Cave, who is English, and Thomas Fischer, who is German. So really it's a European conference and a European committee to reflect that. So Ireland, the Emerald Isle, so called because it's always green, because we get a lot of Atlantic rainfall, and so it's always beautiful. It's an island on the edge of Europe with two parts, and everybody always asks me to explain this. You have the Republic of Ireland in the south, which is part of the European Union, and you have Northern Ireland, the northern part, which is part of the UK, but also enjoys, because of Brexit, access to the EU and the UK markets, which is being much discussed. But people in both parts can consider themselves Irish, and in Northern Ireland you can have an Irish passport and a British passport. So really it's the best of both worlds. We recently celebrated 100 years of independence from the UK, and despite our past wars, we have a very warm relationship, a very close relationship with people from the UK. So you might, looking at Northern Ireland, get the wrong impression, but we are the best of friends. We have a long history together. We follow their football teams, and we beat them at rugby recently. We do all these things together. But we are, despite all of the leprechauns and the jokes about drinking and whatever, we're a modern and progressive society. And our current Prime Minister is the gay son of an Indian immigrant. Our Minister for Children is a gay man. And Ireland has come a long way from the insular country it was, insular agricultural country. It's a modern country driven by innovation. All the software giants are there. It's us Irish, we are passionate people and friendly and welcoming people. But we also have many environmental, social and inequality challenges that you'll see when you come. So impact assessment is critical in planning for the future of Ireland as well. And one of our biggest exports is Irish pubs, which is why so many people have expectations of drinking and singing when they come to Ireland. So we can't really be surprised at that expectation. And we have a beautiful landscape and heritage. And we have a beautiful conference centre, which is right in the centre of Dublin. It's the National Convention Centre. And we're going to show a short video prepared by the Convention Centre to give you a flavour of Ireland and of Dublin.
We are made of a million welcomes. We are tradition and we are innovation. We are altogether easy. Easy to get to, easy to get around, and easy going to. We are one city, alive with ideas. We are Dublin. And we are waiting for you.
Impeccable.
So just to say, the National Convention Centre is in the city centre with multiple hotel options close by. It's a 2-hour drive from Dublin to the west coast of Ireland and to the northern city of Belfast. So you can really explore the whole country when you're in Ireland very, very easily. It's late spring, April the 24th to the 28th. This week it's 18 degrees in Ireland, but we never know. It could be raining in the morning and sunny in the afternoon. But it's a great time to come to Ireland. Spring has really blossomed and it's just a really good time. So just a bit about the theme for next year. So it's impact assessment for a just transformation. So some people have been asking me, why this theme? So I think we're all aware of the need for a just transition from fossil fuels. But this has massive social impacts in countries whose economies are dependent on extraction of coal and oil and gas, such as South Africa, such as Poland, such as India, and Ireland. And we've just stopped burning peat for fuel, or peat bogs. But it also has impacts for countries that are getting increased hydro, wind, and solar. And we heard from Gabby about the impacts on the Wayu people in Colombia, a major oil and gas and coal producing area with lots of negative impacts, and now they're getting wind farms forced on them as well. So, you know, really this whole just transition is going to cause massive global change. And there'll also be a need for a massive increase in the mining of critical minerals we keep hearing about, with massive impacts for communities as well. But, you know, a lot of the social benefits are not going to come because renewables, let's face it, they don't create that many jobs for local communities. And mining is automating, so the same social contract isn't there anymore. The IPCC says that we have 10 years to turn around the trend in increasing emissions and climate heating. Just 10 years to turn it around. There's major political pushback already to a just transition. We saw the election in the Netherlands of an anti-environmental farming party. We see the Republicans in the US pushing back against ESG and everything. So we need multiple just transitions. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said we need to act decisively before it's too late. We need a just transformation. So we're taking the words of Antonio Guterres and we're putting it there in the conference theme, which is impact assessment for a just transformation. And, you know, one thing, you finish a conference, you're on your way home, summer is starting, and then just before you know it, you've missed the deadline for the sessions, which is in July. And I think this is something that you really need to think about. You need to get your sessions in for proposals for Dublin, Ireland. And so I would urge you to focus immediately on drafting a submission for your session while the conference is fresh in your mind and the ideas are there. Just write a few notes down and you can develop it later. And just to say, the concept of a session. In Ireland, a session is a completely different thing. So you will learn in Ireland that a session, or a session in Irish, is where musicians gather informally in a pub and make music and have good crack. Now, crack is Irish for drinking, singing, and good conversations. So we are ready to welcome you to Ireland. Very much.
Thank you, Eddie, for the wonderful invitation. I'm sure many would be eager to sign up soon for IAIA 24. We wish you the very best in your team's preparation for the conference next year.